guys. It's for the consumer that has student loans, right?
Yep.
It's something that we can't get away with. We all went to school. We have this major debt on our shoulders, and now we're ready to buy a house, and now it becomes a problem because you have, we have some clients with 3 or 4 student loans, on their back, and it's $400, $500, $600, $700 in payments a month. But don't fret. There is options for everyone.
Well, big changes.
Yeah.
Right. So
when did these changes happen?
They've been slowly rolling out over the last 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
So FHA has followed, conventional has followed, Freddie Mac has gotten a little bit more competitive as well.
Correct.
So to talk about some of these changes is how does a student loan work right now? So you've obviously acquired debt while going to school, whatever that debt may be. We see average right now of $100,000 or more is typically the average that we're seeing people come to the table with. And now FHA looks at it one way. Now, most people get what's called an income-based repayment, meaning they go to the bank, whoever's servicing the loan, and say, listen, here's my tax returns. And in return, they come back and say, you can pay this amount every month, right? So there's no correlation to the debt. And even though they're paying this amount, the debt is getting bigger, but they're saying this is what you're able to pay every month. Now, how do the home finance companies look at it? FHA does not care what your income-based repayment is.
Right. And now, is that that's a percentage of the loan?
How the income-based repayment comes out?
The IBR?
It's based on what your income is. So when you give to the bank your tax returns or paycheck stubs and your qualifying income, they're going to take a percentage of that, I would assume, and come back and say that based on what your income is, this is what the minimum amount you're going to have to pay. But just like paying the minimum amount of a credit card, that balance that you have with the student loan company is getting bigger and bigger over every month. Now, understand that no bank cares whatever your agreement is with your employer or what your student loan or your whatever offer somebody may have given you, because that can change. Right. So very often we'll hear, well, if I work for this employer for 10 years, it's going to get forgiven. What if you don't? Yeah. Right. So banks always are underwriting on a what if it doesn't happen or what if you don't scenario or worst case scenario, like your mom. Like, when you want to do something, your mom's always saying that something bad's going to happen. Yeah. So
it usually does happen.
Right.
Something bad always did happen.
Same thing happens in finance as well. So what they look at is your minimum payment. So FHA says, listen, we don't really care. This debt is getting bigger every month. At some point, this bill is going to be due. And when that happens, we have no idea what the payment's going to be because you're deferring it. It's getting bigger every month. It's doubling every 12 years. And at some point, that balloon is going to pop and you're going to have to pay for it. Right. And so they look at it and say, no matter what it is, we don't care about the student loan company. We're going to qualify you on 1% of the payment. So if you owe $100,000, you have to qualify with $1,000 a month payment on your student loan. Well, if I'm a teacher and I'm making $50,000, $60,000 a year, or making $4,000 a month, that's 20% of my qualifying income, which only leaves me, assuming that there's no car and assuming there's no other debt, it only leaves me another $1,000 or $1,200 to do something with. So most people think, well, I'm out now. There's nothing I can do. I'm done. I can't buy a home. And very often we'll hear teachers and say, I'm unable to buy a home because I'm only making X and I have all of this debt that I accrued in school. And based on that 1% factor, it's not in the cards for me. Right. So Freddie Mac came out and said, well, we'll take 0.5%. So that cuts that payment in half. But also those credit requirements are a little bit higher. With a conventional loan, you're looking at a 620 minimum credit score versus a 580. And then again, everything else pretty much neck and neck rolls the same on those conventional loans. And both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will take whatever your income-based repayment is. So if you do have an $80 a month payment, that is what they will qualify off of. And again, this has opened a tremendous amount of doors for people.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially for those who do have these agreements. And there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are coming out saying work here for X amount of years and we will, subsidize that monthly payment or we will pay X amount of the debt off. A lot of municipalities are saying work here for 10 years and we will have that debt forgiven. Right. And they're using this as a financial incentive to get people to come and start working now. Right. So for those people who are getting penalized for something that potentially will be forgiven at a later point in time, these program changes have opened a lot of opportunities for people that have been shut out because of student loan payments.
And that's great. And that's great news. I mean, you know, you have students now that are coming out of school, 4-year, 5-year, 10-year program, doctors, all that stuff, that they're going to have these major debts. And, you know, it's programs that are available for them that they don't have to. I know my brother, when he finished his school, it was over $100,000. And, you know, he's a teacher. Well, he's a principal now. But still, he had that big debt on him, and it was a big worry. Like, okay, I'm done. My job pays $35,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like, that's a scary thing. But
also to some of the younger kids getting out right now, especially here in our South Florida market, they're getting out of school, and a rent on a 1-1 condo is $1,900 a month, but a mortgage on a $200,000 property is less.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mortgage on something like that is $1,300.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're able to go out and buy for less than you're paying for rent, and able to take advantage of these programs that a lot of people are saying that you're shuttered out from because of your student loan debt. Why aren't more people talking about it? Is they don't read the guidelines. And the guidelines come out, they change literally every month. You'll get a publication or some type of, from Fannie Mae, we get one. From Freddie Mac, we get one. From FHA, we get one.
But you notice that that's not really advertised.
No.
That's not really advertised. And I'm glad that we're actually talking about this, because I don't know where our viewers are looking at right now.
Sure.
But we're here in Florida, and, you know, we actively put this out there. We need to educate the buyers. And I always say it in every program, an educated consumer is the correct consumer, because that person has firepower to go in and said, hey, not only am I getting the best rate, this is what, whatever makes the dots go for them. So,
and for those people in forbearance right now, Freddie Mac's going to take 0.5%. FHA is going to take 1%. So depending on what your credit score requirements are, give us a call here at the office, speak to one of the loan officers here, do a rundown on the debt, see exactly where you stand. They can do a soft inquiry and pull one of the trade bureaus as well to get a soft inquiry on the credit report and get an idea of where you stand with your debt to income ratio, what the student loan payment's going to be, what type of impact based on the program is going to be the best program for you.
Right, and we'll get that all solved over here. I mean, we could do that in less than an hour. So very simple and easy for us. So it's very.
Pick up the phone, give us a call here at the office. The number is 561-799-4015. You could also message us through Facebook or Instagram at mylibertyloans.com. We thank you so much for taking the time today.
Absolutely, man. What a great show.
Yeah,
Thank you, Anthony, again. Bye.